cycle of the economy, as it ebbs and flows between periods of recession and prosperity, is something that can be hard to predict. But it is inevitable to continue. It has an effect on everybody subject to it. During a recession, every industry falls on hard times. But how does the market for art change with a society that believes they can no longer afford art? Especially in a midwestern city like Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
A lot of people did ask me, why are you starting and opening a gallery located in Bayview during the height of the Great Recession? To which I really just said, I don't know, it's just where I feel like we need to go.
I think some of the students are more hesitant to go into the studio arts, and they want to right off the bat, they want to go into graphic design, which has more potential for immediate hiring once you get out of school, and they go into art education.
I didn't have money to paint, and so instead of using paints, I just used magazines because those were free. And so I think like my own poverty has really affected my relationship with the materials that I use.
I was joking with the guys over at the art store the other day. I'm like one of the artists that doesn't buy stuff anymore, because you know, I'm part of the found object crowd or the hunters and gatherers. I send my students there, but me personally, I don't spend much money for art-making purposes.
You know, how much art we sell really depends on a lot of different factors. Sometimes it has to do with the price of the pieces. Sometimes it has to do with how well known the artists are. Sometimes it just has to do with how much the people are drinking and how good our cocktails are.
And I think a lot of artists have just sort of come to terms with like maybe they're not going to make $1 million on a piece that they feel that deserves $1 million, but they know that they can sell a print for 20 bucks and they can sell maybe 100 of those, and you know, it all sort of evens out.
So it's not necessarily like, oh, the economy is going down for this type of work, so I'm just going to stop making work. Yeah. I don't think that happens, you know.
The market's changed, but are we making art to please the wealthiest people that can buy art, or are we making art because we need to speak? In my case, it's, you know, I need to make the pictures that are in me, and I got to get them out.
The economy affects the collective emotion of a culture and inevitably changes the tone of the time they live in. How does art adapt to this change? How do artists embrace this period of time where people are so disheartened by the economy?
Well, I think art typically reflects the emotions of the society. So the economy is going to have an impact on everything.
Like fear is a deciding factor for like almost every decision that people make, you know, like think that you're an artist because you're selling work, but I think that an artist is like about thinking and about process.
I think hard times forces artists to speak louder with harsher terms and visual terms.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, when those downturns happen in the economy, I think it starts producing like it produces like really great work, like different types of work, you know.
People want they either want to be reminded of their own pain, or they want to be delivered from their pain so far that it's just crazy, colorful fantasy land. I'm leaning towards, I'll remind you of your own pain, I'll remind you of your own suffering.
The sway of the economy clearly has an effect on art culture. With people losing their jobs and artists out of work, one would imagine that the economy can only hurt artistic expression. However, artists always seem to adapt. Does the recession hurt artists and the art community, or does it inspire innovation and new potent subject matters?
Well, as a maker of art, I think you know, you buy materials and you hope to sell it, but it's not going to stop artists from making art. You know, we always wonder, are we going to sell it? And I suppose in a bad economy, you know, I got a dealer in New York that says, yeah, times are tough. We're not going to, I'm selling corporate art. Can you make some corporate art? Which nobody wants to really make. But then again, there's that saying, if you want to eat out, you got to sell out.
I think people are sort of like, they're either stepping completely outside of the box, or they're really trying to put themselves in a box.
You have to stand out to survive, I guess, so it's been a positive thing for us.
There's probably more innovation in art when the economy is bad, because you have to be innovative in a bad economy to be able to just buy the supplies and actually do it.
It certainly is the kind of stimulus that is useful for artists. Powerful emotions, strong voices, politics, economy, suffering of any kind. Yeah, when those are amped up, art gets a little more intense.
When you have a real potent subject matter, I mean, of course, I think it adds to the vitality.
When you don't have like anybody's like wallet sort of making the decision for you, I feel like you are able to be a lot more creative and a lot more experimental with like who you are and what you want to do, because your audience is yourself.
Where if you have less money, you're kind of making the art that you want because you have nothing to gauge it off of other than your personal interests, you know, like what do I like, what do I want to put on paper, you know.
As an artist, you have to do your art, you know, so if we're doing crayon on cardboard, then that's what we're doing, if that's what we have to work with. If we're digging in behind Kmart and stealing pallets and smearing dog poop on them, then that's how we're gonna rock it, you know.
You know, you adjust and adapt and you figure out new ways of making things work.
The way that I can take my art is limitless because I have had to think creatively about the resources that I have and what I can do with them.
Everybody out there who's making art, keep doing it. Something good will happen, trust me. Just gotta keep working hard.
Whether the economy is good or bad, artists will always continue to make art, and people will still want to see it. Like anything that survives, art adapts to the changing times. It can provide an escape from the dire state of reality, or tap deep into the subconscious of our emotions. Artistic trends will continue to ebb and flow as they always have done, but the fact remains, art always finds a way to persevere.